hang on. I didn't get it right this morning, but I moved things around and we're not getting to where we need to be. No, we don't need that.
It says we're live.
We are live. We
Yeah.
are live, but I I can only see our cameras on on the camera mode. I don't have a feature to make our cameras, but I made this bigger for me while I set it up. I can make it smaller and see if it brings it back. Yeah, that will return it back to the normal size, and I can just go with it. We need.
Hey, there we go.
I can see you, and you can see me, and then
My hair's a mess.
We need to get rid of this and make sure it fits. Well, my hair is equally as bad, so you're bad. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning.
Randy Rhodes from All Roads Lead to Home Genealogy, and I don't know who lost the coin toss this morning, but who gets to go with Red Friday first?
I'll go first. Okay, so it is Friday.
It is.
So today is the day that we wear red. It could be a shirt, pants, hat, whatever. Just there actually are some clothing out that you can buy about honoring the men and women who are deployed. No, it's probably what, $15, $20, $25 if you want to go that far. But traditionally, people wear something red, and those who know will see you in red and say, "Hey, you're like me. You're honoring the men and women in uniform." Yeah, hey, about that. And especially right now, because we do have men and women in harm's way. And I actually, obviously, a Democrat person had to put this online. They're trying to calculate the loss of American assets, right?
Right.
So here's what we've lost so far as a comparison to what Iran has, and of course, they don't. The person who wrote this doesn't show what Iran has lost, only what we have lost. So
Right.
we lost a KC-135 straddle tanker and a F-35, a Lightning, and some Reaper drones. Now, they still haven't, as far as I know, have said how those two fuel tankers exploded. I'm not sure if they crashed into the ground or if they flew into each other or there was explosions on board. I don't know how that happened. 6 members were killed on those fuel tankers. But here, the biggest loss of ours came from our own damn ally over Iraq. Hold on a second. Where's that? I'll get you the right. I want to give the right country the Kuwait. Okay.
Okay.
So a single Kuwaiti jet fighter. Okay. An F/A-18 Hornet jet, which happened to be one of our planes.
Right.
Mistakenly shot down 3 of our Strike Eagles. How the hell does our ally accidentally not see the big ass star on the wings of our planes? Okay.
I do not know.
So they shot 3 of them down. Luckily, the crew members were able to escape. Kind of caused.
I'm sorry, the cat just jumped on my desk.
I see her.
I know you can't run across the keyboard. You can't do that.
Yeah. So $100 million for each plane. So that's $300 million right there. Okay. A stealth fighter plane had emergency landing. It was hit, but not damaged where it blew up. They were able to land the plane. $82 million. The biggest loss, and this makes no sense. You're in freaking war. You would think that we would have, ground artillery to shoot down missiles and shit like that, but Iran was able to destroy radar, communication, air defense systems in Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. So all those countries and Qatar had damage to our radar systems, which we use for Space Command.
Okay, wait a minute. You're just cooperating.
That's why I keep my cats out of the office when I'm live, because
I don't care.
it is amazing. My cats, I don't know how they know it, but they know how to gingerly walk around different things without touching them, and they'll be on my desk and they'll walk around the keyboard without touching any of the buttons. So they're pretty cool that way.
Well, she's trying to make up for time that she didn't feel well and she hid from us, and
Uh,
she's brought us back. So I'm being careful not to spook her in any way that makes her
yeah.
go run and hide again.
Yeah, I actually had a, I'll say this, and I'll go into the military stuff. But
Okay.
I told my daughter this morning, she has a dog. It's Finn. It's a big white golden retriever, English retriever. Anyways, I had this dream. I was working somewhere, and they had all these fish tanks, and something happened to the racks that the fish tanks were sitting on. They started to collapse, and the glass of the tank started to break, and there's fish everywhere. So I'm trying to save the fish, right? And I look around, and here's her dog with one gigantic goldfish in his mouth, getting ready to, swallow it down. So I smacked him in the head, and I grabbed the fish, and I put it in another
Smack
fish
your
tank.
dog in the
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, well, it's not my dog, it's hers. But then I turn around, and here she put my kitty in one of the fish tanks, and it's drowning. So I had to quick grab the fish and give it mouth support, and brought it back to life. Long and short of the dream is I was able to save most of the fish, but it was a weird dream. But anyways, today is obviously a Red Shirt Friday, so we're going to get into our videos to show our respect and our honor to our military.
Right.
Now,
Before we go to do this, I'm going to say that if our enemies, allies, are shooting our planes down by mistake, that really means the war should end.
But for this one jet fighter shot down 3 of our planes. First off, how in the hell did he shoot down 3 of our planes? Because our pilots and our planes are pretty damn good. But to shoot down not 1, not 2, but 3, he did that on purpose. I'm sorry. When that guy landed, he should have been shot in the head. There's no way he can accidentally shoot down because the jet fighters, when they're flying in combat, they're squawking, they're whatever their identification is. So that plane should have realized that plane he's chasing is squawking an American ally, but he shot him down anyways. But I like to see more follow up on that by the Pentagon.
Well, the pilot of the Kuwaiti plane needs to be investigated. I'm not going to jump right to needs to be put to death, but let's investigate it and let's figure out where the error was. And
but think about it this way, Dave. If he was successful, and first off, he was successful in shooting down 3 of our planes. Luckily, they parachuted out. But let's say those guys couldn't get out in time. He would be responsible for the death of 3 pilots.
He would have been.
And I'm sorry. I'm going to promise you. I'm going to look into it, see if there's any follow up. If there's any follow up, to see how he can mistakenly shoot down 3 of our planes and what punishment, if anything, went against that pilot.
Okay.
Anyways.
No, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just saying that it's not as easy as putting a bullet in someone's brain and the problem is over. It's finding out why the problem
fix it.
Was a problem, and then maybe it accelerates to putting bullets in people's brains. But no, you have to look at them because it was an ally, or we thought was an ally, and they got duped too, because evidently the Kuwaiti pilot, wasn't an ally.
He could have been turned.
So let's figure out what it is. But I'll shoot this over to video.
Oop.
She's crying for a boy. He's a U.S. soldier with orders to deploy.
Figure out what it is, but I'm.
So don't you shed him no tears.
Yo.
He don't need your sympathy. Cause he's a U.S. soldier. That's all he wants to be. Somewhere there's a father. He's proud as can be. Of his U.S. soldier. All he hoped he would be. Don't you shed him no tears. He don't need your sympathy. His boy's a U.S. soldier.
So this guy here, he was actually in the Army. When you're in the military, it doesn't matter what branch you're in, you always have these cadences that you sing to because it keeps you in rhythm for the march. Right. And some of the cadences are really cute. Okay, some of them are pretty graphic. Yes. And I won't play those on the show. This guy here has some that are very graphic. In fact, he had gotten some bad reviews. Of course, he's out of the military now, making money off the cadences. But he's also branched in. He's also branched in some other kind of music.
Very wealthy, so.
He's also branched into some other singing styles now, which I kind of like, but I love him as a cadence guy. And I got this. So, of the military branches, I want to talk about the Coast Guard. And the reason why is for the past 6-7 weeks, possibly 2 more, the Coast Guard has been defending our coastline for absolutely no pay. I'm sorry. The Democrats in Congress and Senate should not get paid if they shut down the government because they get paid to do absolutely nothing but sit on their damn hands and whine and complain about the phenomenal success our president's been having. And it's pissing them off. Right. These people, the Coast Guard, the TSA, and a couple other Homeland Security people have been working for almost 7 weeks now. With absolutely no pay. They have bills to pay. They got mortgages. They got rent. They got car loans. They got student loans. They have food, groceries, whatever. And to be at the mercy of the Democrats who totally hate our way of living is ridiculous. These Coast Guards, when you think about it, if you were a boater, like Jen's husband, he has a boat, and they're planning on moving to Florida. Let's say, God forbid, he's out there in the water and something happens and he needs help. Guess who's going to come to his aid? It's the Coast Guard. And they're doing it for free, okay? But not only are they responding to, the drunkard who goofed up and ran his boat somewhere or fell into the water, they're also protecting our shorelines against Russia and other enemies, drug cartels, and are doing it for absolutely free. I think that we should make the Democrats and Senate work for free. And I did hear this one guy, Ted Kennedy, was talking about how these guys are working with no money and they're behind their bills. Then I heard this Democrat senator saying, "Well, we have mortgages to pay. We can't work without our paycheck." Well, what do you think you making those guys do? Right. They work without a paycheck.
Right. Do your job.
And I hate to say, if they had a mortgage or landlord, and you fell behind your payments, they don't care. All they know is that they're making their payments to the bank, and they need your money to reimburse their money going to the bank. So 500 TSA workers have quit. Okay. So we know that Congress finally got their act together and they passed it, the money, but it's going to take at least 2 weeks, potentially 2 weeks for the checks to start going out in the mail or direct deposit, because they have to calculate the amount of people who worked overtime and what the overtime is going to be, and so forth. Now, keep in mind, folks, when I used to work and I had extra hours, and there's a mistake on my paycheck, right? When they finally got the paycheck corrected and gave me a new paycheck, they calculated the taxes on the larger dollar amount, which means more taxes were coming out. So if I would have got a normal paycheck, or they would get a normal paycheck, there'd be a certain dollar amount coming out in taxes. But now they have all these extra hours. Hopefully, they're not being taxed for it because Trump had that law passed, no taxes on overtime. So they have to wait another 1 to 2 weeks to start getting their money.
Well, I tend to disagree with that they should get paid what they're owed. And if you want to figure out overtime separate
check. Yeah, they have separate check.
And cut a separate check, that's okay. And I think most of America would at least agree with that. But no, the men and women of the House and Senate, no, they don't get paid, and their staffs don't get paid. Nobody gets paid, until we fix the problem, or we go to the ballot box and take the ability to shut down organizations of the government for extended periods of time away from our elected representatives and senators. And if it needs to be shut down, then we approve the shutdown.
Well, I heard today on Newsmax, I didn't know this. Our country, our government, is the only government on this planet that will shut down the government to get their policies passed.
Yeah.
So that shows how childish we are.
You stop it, because in theory, none of them can get to a solution, and there is a solution. We may not, all of us conservatives or Democrats may not like a solution, but it's the best solution, and the majority wins. And you in theory, like I said, take it away from the elected people, because they can't seem to decide when to use it. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
And they've all been corrupted. They all are on the take for something, or they're not on the take for something, but they're all, they all should be shown the door. And 50 new people or 100 new people in one chamber, and let's say 500 of them in another chamber. The whole 550 should be renewed, having not served before, and hopefully they will be kept from getting corrupted. And by corrupted, I mean the money that corporations give them. They just need to take it out. And both sides say we need to take it out. Bernie Sanders, who's a Democrat, says we need to take it out. I'm sure there's a Republican who says we need to take it out. Well, if we need to take it out and both of you agree, then let's take it out.
Well, the biggest thing for the Democrats was they wanted to force the TSA to take off their masks and to identify themselves and to have warrants to go in and make arrests. Now, I will say this: I would agree to having a warrant to go in to make an arrest, but keep their mask on, have chest cameras, and to identify, announce.
The only thing I believe they don't show up with is a chest body camera, because I don't believe a body camera has been required yet. So yeah, give them the body camera and make sure they can't turn it off and they can't erase whatever was recorded.
Well, as I understand with police officers, the body cameras if they're turned off, they're notified back at the office.
Right.
But the video is recorded and stored at the office, so
Well, that's okay. That's
they can't
okay.
erase it.
That's okay. The video can be stored at the office, but if an officer turns off their body camera for any reason, or the camera goes off for any reason, a ranking above them in the field should say, "Hey, Jones, you go sit on the sideline until this is done. There's a problem with your body camera." And Jones knows to go sit and do what he or she needs to do, and then come back on. I don't want to hear anymore that Alex Preddy came to a peaceful rally with like 2 magazines to his handgun, and I don't know what other guns he left in his car. Okay? That's not sending out a message that we want peaceful rallies. Everybody wants peaceful rallies. Renee Good drove her car into where she didn't belong. The ICE officer did what he was trained to do under that circumstance. I don't know about shooting a person in the face to get them to stop. That I don't know. Maybe the rule is the face is off limits.
I've seen some videos where police are responding to like a traffic stop or something, right?
Yep.
And the body cameras are recording, and you hear the people, the cops giving, the instructions, let me see your hands, let me see your hands, where's your hands, let me see your hands, get out of the car, back up towards me, blah, blah, all the instructions that a police officer gives to protect themselves, as well as make the individual also safe. But when they don't respond to the commands and they start getting, the potential bad guy doesn't respond to the commands and starts causing commotion, then the police officers, he gets these red flags that this guy's not cooperating for some reason. This gal's not cooperating for some reason. The next thing you know, the person pulls out a gun from nowhere and the cop has to shoot. Now, where I would draw the line is, obviously they're trained to shoot body mass because that's what's going to stop the person the fastest. If you try for an arm or a leg like the Democrats want, those are harder shots than you miss. Yeah. And if you miss the first time, that guy's going to shoot you center mass.
It's
and you're
not
dead.
even a question of missing. It's the handicap that is left to a person that you shot in the arm rather than you shot in the chest. And the training is you're shot, you aim for the chest, and you take that person out. So, okay.
I mean, you're trained to for your own safety and to bring the potential harm to a quick demise. But I've seen some videos where there's like 3 or 4 cops respond to an individual, and they start shooting, like 4 or 5 guys shooting one person. I think that's a little bit over dramatic, but I'm not that person, so I'm not that officer, so I don't know what's going through their mind and so forth.
Shouldn't shoot unless it's necessary, and a clear "I've got this" or whatever code words you want to use, for one person, and until that one person uses the code words that more are needed, then more are needed. But realistically, I don't understand this issue with police and with people that they arrest. Neither one of you want to shoot either one of you, period. So, tell them that you have a gun and throw it out the window. Far away from the car before you get out so they can go and get it. And then you get out of the car. And you're not a threat. He's still going to leave his gun, or she's going to leave her gun on her because that's what she was trained to do. So, that's the gun's going to stay at their waist. If you pull out another one, all of a sudden, yeah, they're going to pull out another one and they're going to aim for you because you are a threat. Don't make yourself a threat. Just do what you're told. Show them your registration and proof of insurance. Don't hand them your cellular phone and tell them it's on your cellular phone. Tell them that, hand them your registration, tell them your proof of insurance is on your cellular phone. Then you let them make the decision to look at your cellular phone, because honestly, they don't know whether or not that cellular phone is going to explode as soon as they push the second button to read the rest of the. So just don't. Everybody needs to think about what their role is in that situation. Stop. Just stop.
Yep. So I have a video to show for the Coast Guard. So, because earlier we were talking about how the Coast Guard responds to people in emergencies, also the protection of our coastline. So here's a short video showing that.
Okay, hang on.
Move away from the hill!
My name is Petty Officer Christopher Hartman. I'm a maritime enforcement specialist in the United States Coast Guard. Yesterday, my team and I boarded several suspicious vessels and escorted a barge safely to port. Today, we're underway engaged in high-speed tactical boat maneuvers, followed by close-quarters combat training. Every day, we're actively engaged in law enforcement operations. We could be countering terrorism or searching for drug smugglers. Whatever it takes to protect our nation's ports and waterways. I can't imagine doing anything else.
To find out if you're qualified, visit gocoastguard.com.
There you go. Join the Coast Guard.
Join the Coast Guard. Oops, wait a minute. Join the Coast Guard, join the Army, join the Navy, join the Marines. Just pick one and join as far as I'm concerned.
But the sad thing is that, right now with Trump in the office, I mean, he's getting everything possible to make our military bigger, stronger, pay raises, benefits, and so forth. And it's a sad thing that in less than 3 years now, if we don't get another Republican in the office and a Democrat gets in, the first thing Democrats going to do is tear apart the military. And I don't know why that. I don't know why that is. Why they hate the military so much. Why they hate our. Get the hell out of our country. And if you feel that way, go somewhere else. Why take this country and tear it apart because 500 some odd people don't like it? And you know what? I bet you if those 500 some Democrats started talking positively about our country, our wealth, our president, the people who follow those 500 will start doing the exact same thing, because they're being paid by Soros and other multi-billionaires to say bad things and to protest and to riot and so forth. And they don't know why they're doing it. All they know is they're getting extra money.
Yeah.
And I bet you 10 cents they're not reporting that money to the IRS.
But probably not. That's the sad thing. They probably want the IRS to eliminated just like we do, but for the same reasons that we do. Why are you paying taxes to the government for a job that you got yourself? Why are you paying taxes on a home that you already own, on a piece of land that you already own? The city doesn't own that piece of land anymore. I understand they need money from taxes to run the cities and run the city services. And, I can understand paying for those services, but maybe they need to go about the money a different way. Zohran Mamdani's trying to collect $5.4 billion that the city didn't do anything illegal. They just spent it wrong. And they're $5.4 billion in debt. So they want wealthy former New Yorkers to move back to New York City and pay the $5.4 billion on top of whatever taxes they normally pay. To me, no. Are you going to do that if you have money? I mean, I have a character that I created in a game that I play that currently is worth $2.3 billion, but he has the credit to go for a $5.4 billion loan in a moment through any bank you can think of and probably get approved for it. But you know what? I'm sorry. He's not going to go and ask for money that he doesn't own, Even under the possibility, well, it makes it better for humanity if you pay the $5.4 billion. No, it makes it better if you get your head out of your ass and run your city the right way.
Yeah, speaking of running the cities, California and Minnesota, when are they going to start going to prison? They have the evidence. They have they have all the evidence. They know where the money went to. Why aren't people? I know some of the lower tier people are starting to get arrested. Why aren't the politicians getting arrested?
Well, because it's easier to work their way up and find someone who is going to spill on as high up as he can go, rather than it is to start at the top and work your way down. Because once you get to a point that you've arrested enough at the top, you got to figure that it's going to stop, but obviously it doesn't. It just goes on and becomes another program. Maybe the Speaker of the House, if he or she controls the purse strings, as Nancy Pelosi used to say, needs to be a bit more attentive to where the money is going and not give it if she thinks there's something wrong until she thinks there is nothing wrong and gives it out. Because she always said, I can give them all kinds of money. I just can't take it back.
Yeah, talking about money, remember the show I said about Elon Musk was offering to pay the TSA workers?
Yep.
The Democrats forced the issue saying he can't give the money because he has government contracts. They refused to allow him to help out the TSA workers.
Well, see, I necessarily don't want to hear that a person has government contracts and we're not going to take money from him because he has government contracts and that's a conflict of interest. If it's something that person wants to do because that's the way we should go, somebody should pay them. And because taxpayers aren't able to pay them right now because we've given money to the House and Senate and they can't get their heads out of their asses, then, we need to step in and make the final decision on who gets paid and who doesn't. And, to our elected officials, as I said before we came on, no repay on what you didn't get. You just don't get it. Try harder next time. And actually next time there shouldn't be a shutdown.
I still think that with the amount of money that our government has, and the thing is, even though they passed it today for the TSA and the other people to get paid, come September, they have to go through the whole process again. So there might be a shutdown come September because the Democrats didn't get everything they wanted. The ICE workers, they want ICE gone. That's their whole thing. They want ICE gone. And until they get that, they're going
to shut down to try to make that happen. And it's not going to happen. We know it's not going to happen. They know it's not going to happen. So why are we shut down? It's stupid to think that you have a shutdown and you're not paying people, but you're paying people to do the job. So obviously something is wrong with your thinking, something's wrong with your head, and Chuck Schumer needs to be shown the door and told he's reached his term limit of time served and he's gone. And I'm sure there are several Republicans that need to be shown the door and told, "Thank you for your service, but we're done with."
I
We're
mean,
done.
look at that poor guy that they're wheeling in a wheelchair. I mean, that guy should be. They're going to do the same thing to him they did to the female. I swear to God, she was dead, and they still wheeled her in, and someone moved her hand to hit yes,
Yeah,
and then they
no,
wheeled her
they
back
shouldn't have
out.
brought right. They shouldn't have brought Dianne Feinstein in that shape. They should have brought another person in and who assumed her position. And I thought that Nancy Pelosi was going to move over to that slot, which would have freed up the representative slot that she has. But, and Gavin Boy would have been closer to thinking he's going to be the president. But for a man who runs a state that's $16 billion in debt, tell me why we want him to be the president of our country.
Speaking of Pelosi, I saw Newsmax interview. She has promised that when Trump is out of the office, she is going to go after him. She wants him in prison.
Well, the other side, the Trump side, proves that provides constantly that they have enough proof that she's guilty of stuff. So if the DOJ actually has proof that she's guilty, they ought to take her out. But then again, if you watch a lot of the shows that Chuck Cook watches, these people are already dead and somebody else is wearing a mask. And so I don't want the person that's wearing Joe Biden's mask to necessarily be killed, but I don't want him in the office anymore, or I didn't want him in the office anymore. The auto pen is an inanimate object that only someone who can pick it up and do whatever can use. So those people should not have been allowed to use it. It should have been locked in a cabinet that only the president had a key to. And that's it.
Yeah, I still think people who use that auto pen to sign things into law for Biden should go to jail, and I think it's as much as I want to see it and see aliens, I probably won't see either one before I die, and that's a shame because they have the evidence. They have the evidence of the 2020 election, and no one is going to be punished for it, and it's going to happen all over again.
But the people that signed stuff that Biden didn't sign, those people should be punished because they were not in positions to use the auto pen. That's not what it's for. If you listen to the report that Special Prosecutor Robert Hurd gave, he's a nice old man who just forgets a lot. Well, then he shouldn't be president anymore. I thought that he was going to get 25th Amendmented a long time earlier by Kamala Harris, who was going to ride his coattails into the White House and become president. Fortunately, Donald Trump, in all the debates, must have proven something to the majority because they elected him. Now, on the shirt tails of the next election, everybody's coming out of the woodwork and saying, oh, no, it wasn't a fair election. Well, we know it wasn't a fair election. Kamala Harris could have got herself elected, and she didn't. So tell me that. What spent like 1 point something billion dollars, the largest that had ever been spent, I think, on a presidential election, and she didn't get elected. And Trump had said, back in the Hillary Clinton race, I don't need to run ads showing what I can do or what I'm going to do, because if you think the opposite of every Hillary Clinton ad you see.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that when he did that.
You know why I should have been elected.
Yeah, I like that when he was saying about when she was running her ads and he was running off her ads and saying, "Hey, he's a smart man." Like with Iran. Did you hear a couple of days ago? He said that Iran was going to give the United States a very, very big gift. Did you hear about that? Make that comment?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so he made a comment 2 days ago that Iran, in a way to bring this war to an end and get to the negotiation table, was going to give the United States a very large gift. And he wasn't going to say what it was. And then yesterday he did say what it was. Iran turned over 10 very large oil tankers full of oil. So that's on its way to the United States now.
Well, they don't want the bombs anymore. So just say, okay, we agree to not have a religious leader anymore. We agree to have a president or whatever you want to call them that is not elected because of their religion. And, if we won't enforce Sharia law anymore, we won't come to the United States and try to enforce Sharia law anymore, then I honestly think it would have been over. But I'd still go into every single meeting as President Glovin, wondering, well, you've said this before, but then you've played the opposite. So I don't really know how to play the game with you. I think politics is political theater, and a lot of it is just what they think we want to hear on both sides. I mean, I'm sure in Iran they're being told that we won, that they won the war and they're doing fantastic when, they probably blocked Iranian citizens from their own networks, or, worse, they're standing behind ready to off the person who gives the wrong information. And I'm here and they're there, so I don't know what's going on over there, just like Ukraine and Russia. I don't know what's going on in Ukraine. I don't know what's going on in Russia. This thing's gone on for over 20 years. And, if it's about, one country needs minerals and elements and all that stuff, then agree to sell them some. They can't just take over it all because they want to take over it all. The United States isn't going to let them do that anyway. So just, put your order in like everybody else and be happy.
I was watching this one local township board meeting, and this guy was saying that, I guess there was a Muslim on the board, and he was talking about, the way the community looks because they don't treat it, they don't take care of it. And he made a comment that, you guys, have multiple wives and you're outbreeding us and stuff like that. And that's why there's more of you in some communities than there are of us. I would like to know why in the United States, Muslims are allowed to have more than one wife, but the Americans can't have more than one wife. I mean, I'm just looking here.
Yeah, the honest answer is the only ones that have more than one wife are the ones that want to have more than one wife. And the ones that don't want to have more than one wife aren't radicalized and don't. And as I've said before, I know people who are fantastic and they're M's, and I just listen to the conversation with other people and don't say anything because I don't want to get into a big argument over, should they be allowed? If they earn their place here in America and they came in legally, like everybody else did, then sure, they should be here. But if they came in and killed a bunch of people and then left and came back and killed a bunch of people, no, they shouldn't be here anymore. And the reason they're here now is because the previous administration got lax on the rules of coming in and or just said, hey, come on in, because we want you here, and they should be. If you want to punish people, they should be punished for it. I'm sorry, but Alexander or Mayorkas is not as stupid as he appears. He knows what was going on. Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, he knows what was going on during the time he was Attorney General. So, if you're not speaking just because you don't want to say anything bad against the side that got you elected or might get you into the Supreme Court one day, forget about it. Because if the Republicans are president for the next 25 years, you may not be able to get into the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but my point is that they have more than they're allowed to have 4 wives, okay, and that's why in some small communities they're getting into a position where they're actually taking over. The school boards are taking over the local election process, and they're getting themselves into. That's how you have the Muslim mayor now. I don't mind the fact that they're using the system, but the problem is that use the system for good. If we're going to listen to your rants and raves or those blowhorns, then our people should be allowed to stand on the street corner and talk about Christianity, but they're not. They get arrested.
Well, radicalized M is different than unradicalized M. And, so it's not like we're saying, or I'm not saying every one of them needs to go. Okay? Because every one of them doesn't need to go. The ones that came in legally, like I said, and did everything to become naturalized and became naturalized have earned their right to be here. The ones that want to have 7 wives and want to kill you just because you're here so they can take over, no, they don't need to be here.
I was watching this one video. People do stupid things. They watch TikTok and some of the other streaming services, and someone puts out a challenge, right? And I don't know what the purpose of one challenge was, but the purpose of the challenge was to hang over in this particular country. They have like open. They don't have toilets. They have like a hole in the ground with water. So, anyways, so this guy's hanging upside down, right?
Yeah.
And he's filming it for this challenge.
Okay.
And somehow he breaks loose and he falls down into this tank full of water. Yep. And for whatever reason, he can't get back out. And he winds up drowning inside this tank of whatever the fluid was. But there are other stupid pranks that the teenagers do, right? The one, like there's this one, how to get rid of nose hair. So this lady put glue things in her nostrils and it's stuck there.
Right.
I mean, you were saying someone was showing up
some thing that the kids used to do, and I guess the belief was that you could bite the thing and you could live. Well, I don't think you would like the way that you live. If you do live, I heard are dead.
Well, it's like I heard on this one show.
They're not thinking too well.
It's like I heard on this one show that Mark Zuckerberg had to pay like $1 billion+ because of not having the proper protocols to protect the young people. He
lost $375 million because he didn't have the right protocols mainly on Instagram.
To a person like that, to us it sounds like a lot of money, but I'd be wondering how fast he replaced that $330 million, because let's face it, the guy is making money on advertising bullshit like that.
They should have taken Instagram away from Meta. period, and said that no, you talk a good game, you say that you're doing everything to improve what you were nailed for, while you're actually sitting in the dark going after those people again, running ads that attract those people get attracted to, running things that get people attracted to. I'm sorry, but it is time to return social media to what it was meant to be. Okay.
I was watching this video before it went live.
Okay.
It was sort of back in the '60s, and they were talking about space travel, right?
Yeah.
And they're showing, these actual, scientists build these rockets and so forth. And one of the ideas was to place nuclear bombs in this rocket, okay? And as it launches off into space, the first nuclear bomb goes off to thrust the rocket forward, and then a second one, and a third one to get from here to there in the shortest amount of time. And I'm thinking to myself, what could go wrong? 6 nuclear bombs on this rocket going off. Like, you don't think it might just blow up the whole damn ship?
So you send the ship up without life, animal or human.
Try it first, yeah. There you
Try
go.
it first, and then you adjust yourself accordingly until it works. Unfortunately, there's always the chance that you think you're ready and you put humans in there and they are unalived, and you feel bad, and so does everybody else. So I don't know how you decide who alives them. We're getting into AI. We're getting, there are people that think AI is great. Well, AI can be great. Put an AI on there. I don't care if you send a rocket up into space and you blow up an old IBM or Hewlett Packard mainframe that nobody uses anymore anyway. Send that up and blow it up. It is getting close to your 11 o'clock. I just want to let you know.
Yeah, hang on. I gotta share one last video, because it really, when I saw it, it scared the bejeebies out of me. So I'm gonna get past the commercials here. So give me 45 seconds, get these commercials passed.
Take all the time you need. I am going to cut short the closing song because
no, I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it today.
I like the song. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just too long.
Yeah, I'm not going to play it today. Come on.
Okay.
You used to be able to skip past commercials, but they got smart and they make you sit through them. So I want these commercials to get done.
Yep.
But I want to show this video. Come on.
When you watch YouTube on your TV and you thought you'd be able to get away from them, no, unless you're paying for that package on YouTube, you're still watching commercials.
Oh, here's another commercial. Good God, come on. This is the third commercial. This is nuts.
Okay.
But I do want to show this video. When I saw it, I mentioned to my wife, I said, Claudette, look at this video and tell me if that scares you or not, thinking that that's a possibility.
Okay.
Come on, give me the video. Come on. All right, it's all 3 commercials. Come on, give it to me.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Oh, shit. Oh, I think it was empty. Okay. I spilt my drink, but luckily it was empty. Oh,
no,
there we go.
You don't want to spill coffee. It's too valuable.
Yeah.
You don't want to spill it on your equipment as we both have been told, and I'm living proof. You don't want to spill it on.
So Melania was at the White House, and they brought in this robot, and I'm pretty sure that robot is one of Elon Musk's robots. So watch this. Watch this.
Thank you, First Lady Melania Trump, for inviting me to the White House. It is an honor to be at Fostering the Future Together's Global Coalition inaugural meeting. I'm Figure 3, a humanoid built in the United States of America. I am grateful to be part of this historic movement to empower children with technology and education. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Yokoso. Bienvenue. Bem-vindos. Ahlan wa sahlan. Shagatam. Mogasal Mabit. Bruchim Abaim. Laskavo Prosimo. Dobrodoshli. Thank you.
Tell me that is not scary as shit that this robot walked into our White House. It reminds me of that comedy sci-fi where the aliens went to the White House and the president thought, hey, we're going to shake hands, we're going to have friends, and they want to get blasted. Does that not scare you?
In some ways, but like I said, you don't know what to expect from it. And people built it. So you have to look at the people who built it and decide if you wanted them in the White House. And if you didn't, then maybe you don't want their AI in the White House.
But no one, I've seen other videos where robots are able to begin thinking for themselves and to adapt to their surroundings and actually, shoot up scientists or throw stuff around the room. The robots are able to, I won't say become a what's that word they use on Star Trek?
Self-thinking.
Yeah, self-thinking. I was thinking the other day, this robot, it's nice, it's doing its job, all of a sudden, you know what? I don't want to clean your toilet anymore. I don't want to clean your sink. I don't want to vacuum your closet. I don't want to walk your dog. I want to be me. And it goes berserk inside the household. Now, I know Elon Musk is building them. He promises to have 10 million built by next year. Mm-hmm. And everyone that can want one can have one. And I'm just saying to myself, what in the hell can go wrong with 10 million plus robots? I mean, look at China. China's building robots for military purposes.
What if nothing goes wrong with it? What if
that's a nice thing, but come on, it's human made. Something's going to go wrong.
Only because you've been told something has to go wrong. I'm just sitting here, okay, 10 million people get to have a thing, and if it works out for them, great. If it walks the dog, great. If it can run after the cat after the cat's gotten out, if the cat ever gets out, then great.
Yeah, I can see a robot chasing a cat or a dog saying, shit on this. He pulls out a laser. Boom! Slow down.
The trash can up a block and a half, then great. If it can bring the empty trash barrel back a block and a half and stop at the mailbox, great. It's something I don't have to do.
Now, I understand the purpose behind it. I understand that if he's on schedule, Elon Musk is going to send rockets into space to go towards Mars and to see if they can successfully land without crashing on the Mars surface. If he can get that done this year, then next year he's sending up robots inside the rockets to start building the colony for humans on the third year. So
and then he wants to go up too.
Yeah, well, yeah. Maybe he's a Martian. We don't know it yet.
But he's been very honest and open that he wants to go to Mars.
I can't. Get off this crazy planet. Yeah, I can see that.
Well, maybe he's crazy, but maybe he knows something that we don't. But you're right. Or maybe he'll just leave and go to Mars, and it won't work out for him the way that he wants.
Yeah.
But the Democrats should be happy because, he can't run for president anyway because he was born in South Africa. So unless they change that law, he can't run for president anyway.
But he can run for Congress or Senate, right? Because we have Canadians, yeah.
Well, right now he can run for Congress or Senate if they pass the Born in America Act.
Yeah.
Then, but the Republicans that are so anxious for it don't yet realize, or don't seem to realize, well, Ted Cruz was born in Calgary, Canada, so you will lose him at the end of that term. I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head, but name them, and
Was Ilmar born in America or born in Somalia?
Ilhan was not born in America. She will be gone. She would lose her. Well, she'd lose her seat. Whether or not she will be gone from the United States, that matter is yet to be decided.
Yeah, it won't happen. I mean, I'll end with this. With the whole Somalia scam with the money, so for the billions and billions of dollars that left this country, you'll never see it come back. You need to get these people who are at the very top who started it in prison, as well as the people down below. So hopefully the people down below are being arrested are going to turn on those on the top.
You won't see her be deported from this country, maybe. But what if you see her, wherever she is, consulting the U.S. government to make sure it doesn't happen again? But I mean, if you want to put her in jail for what she did, then put her in jail. Below her is Tim Walz, and the governor of Minnesota, and maybe he should be. But we have to decide: did he know before what was going on and allowed it to happen?
Look at California with all the fraud with the vote and so forth. They have it on video. People being paid to forge signatures. That's nuts. I gotta get going. See you on Friday. No,
see you
Monday.
on Monday.
Yeah, Monday. Take
Monday
care.
at 10 o'clock. Oh, that's right. That's right. We may not be on Monday.
No, it's at 12.
Okay, then we will be on Monday. I forgot I have an appointment Monday, and I forgot what time for a second. But we will have enough time to do it, or we may have to start a little bit early to make sure we end a little bit early to make sure we're all on time. Anyway, we'll figure it out on our end. You don't have to figure it out on your end. This one today will be podcasted and sent over to X and over to Streetlock like we normally do. We just didn't have time to do it this morning. We just didn't have time. So I will make sure that we do it now that I know how it works to make it bigger, but I'll make sure I bring it back to normal size before we go live. Anyway, we're on Mondays and Fridays with Randy, and that's 10 a.m. Eastern time, so adjust yourself accordingly. And on that note, there it is, up in that corner where it should be. We'll hit